All right, you guys, I'm going to try and do a video that's going to show you kind of how to use these micropipettes. All right. So first I want to show you, here is my little carousel of micropipettes. I know this is up close, but I will grab one off of here. And the first thing I'm going to say is how to hold these micropipettes. So let me flip this over and let me take one out. Let me quick show you how I take it out too. Okay, so it's on the rack and I'm going to remove this one here. Take it out with my hand that I'm not going to use it in and turn it and put it in my hand that I am going to use it in. Place this back and you can see that's just a pen that I dropped there. So you can see how I'm holding it. I have my pointer finger under this little lip here. And so like my fingers come around, then my thumb can easily get at this little plunger here and as well as this little plunger here. And I'm going to always want to keep this in an upright position. Okay. Right now, I don't have any tips and I'm not measuring any liquids, but when you're measuring liquids, when you got a tip on there, I always say when there's a tip on there, hold it upright all the time. Otherwise, you can kind of hold it to the side, which I'm going to do to kind of show you some things. So that's how you hold it so that you can easily get this with your thumb, get this one with your thumb, and you have a good secure grip on it, okay? So now we have 3 micropipetters here. Notice this first one says, hopefully this will focus there, 2 to 20 microliters. The next one will say 20 to 200 microliters. And the third one we have says 100 to 1,000 microliters. All right. So depending on how much you want to measure out, depends on which one you want to do. And as long as your measurement falls in the range. For our first lab, we're only going to need the 2 to 20 because we might measure out 5 milliliters, microliters, excuse me. We might measure out 20 microliters. But then eventually we're going to have to go to the 20 to 200 because we're going to have to measure out 25 microliters. And 25 microliters you just can't measure in this one. It only goes up to 20. It goes all the way down to 2, but up to 20. This one goes from 20 to 200. So these 2 are the ones that we're going to be using in this lab. This one on the first day, and this one on the second day when we go to load our gels. All right. So now that we notice how to hold our micropipetters, now we're going to set them. Now I have a little chart here, and I'll try to zoom up on this maybe a little bit, this chart here. But what it's trying to show are these boxes on the micropipettes. Now this is the 2 to 21, and you'll notice there's a black, and then a red. Okay, what does that all mean? The first black is the tens place. Okay, the second black is the ones place, and the red is the tenths place. So on this, since I can go 2 to 20, I can go as low as 2 on this, but I can go as high as 20 on this. So I could have 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 3.0, 3.1, you get it, all the way up to 20.0. I don't want to go above that. Sometimes they may turn that way, but you don't want it. So this one right now is set at 10 microliters. But how did we get it at that? Okay. So first I want to show you this locking mechanism. Okay. And it's in the locked mode right now. And you'll feel that locked mode because you can't turn this little knob. We're going to unlock it. So just turn it to the unlocked. And now you can see this turns. And when this turns, it turns these knobs. Notice I'm going down on the reading here. Make sure this, sorry, this thing keeps focusing here. But it's at 9.7 right now. So let's say I want to measure out, not an unlocking number, I was going to say 13.0, but let's do 15.5. First off, does that fall in the range of 2 to 20? Yes, it does. So let's take it up to 15.5. So am I going up here? Yes, I am. So I'm up to 10. I can go a little bit further. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.0, but I want to go 15.5. So I'll take it all the way to 15.5. Once I have it in 15.5, I can then lock it in place. And now this is ready to measure out 15.5 microliters of a fluid, okay? So that's how we set them. And again, you can check this out on the 20 to 200 one or the 100 to 1000 one. It's all different with how it does. On the 20 to 200, you're going to see that it has 3 boxes, okay? It's the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. There's no point or tenths unless you look closely at the little ridges that are underneath there. You can get tenths, okay? But really, I wouldn't go into that, okay? So if I went to measure out 150 microliters, could I do this with this one? Well, it goes 20 to 200, so I could. So again, I would unlock it and then turn. I'm trying to do this, and I'm going down that way. But I would turn until I get to 150, if that's how much I wanted to measure out. Remember, I can't go over 200 on this, because you don't want to go over that because it messes up the mechanism on this. And we have a few of them that are broken already. So we're up to 140 and 150. I would put that into place, and then I would lock it. Okay, so that's locked into place. And finally, the 1000th one, okay, the 100 to 1000 one. This one's really weird. I kind of don't like it sometimes, I gotta admit. This first digit is the thousandths, and that one's red. That's the thousandths. That can only be 0 or 1. Never take that to 2 because it can only go up to 1000. So that's your 1000. It can be a 0 or 1. Okay. These are your hundreds. These are your tens. And there's no one space except for those little notches that you see kind of at the bottom. Oh, I'm glad it focused right there. Those little notches at the numbers. So now when we do this, okay, look at this number that's on there right now. How much is that? Well, this is 0 for the thousands. This is hundreds, so it's 750, okay? And we're not going to look at the little notches. We'll just assume 750 microliters. So let's say I wanted to set this at 800 microliters. Could I do that? So we look, is 800 good for this? Yes, it's between 100 and 1000. So how we do it, we unlock it. Then we can turn this. Now remember, it's at 750 right now. To go to 800, I only need to get this to 8, this to 0, and then the numbers to 0. So I'm turning this until I get to 8, and I'm there. I'm already 800. I know it looks like 80, but that's 800, no tenths, no ones. Okay? So I'm going to lock that in place. And now I know I would draw out 800 microliters if I use it set at that place. Okay, so that's it. So let's go back to my favorite one, which is the little guy. Okay, and this is the one that measures out a lot of little volumes here, 2 to 200. Okay, and we're going to go into the next set. So we know how to hold it. Okay, finger, pointer finger underneath the little lip. So your thumb is right there and have a nice grip on it, not too tight where you're like, oh, I'm so nervous about this. All right. We know how to set it now. And now we're going to learn how to suck up and squirt out, okay, with the liquids. Well, whenever you use liquids, never suck up liquids unless this has a tip on it. Now, you really shouldn't put your fingers on this either. These things, are delicate. They're measured to like such tiny little amounts. So what do we need? We need to put a tip on it. So I'm going to drag these tips over here. Okay. And the yellow tips happen to fit the 2 to 20 and also the 20 to 200 ones. So we're going to just stick one of these tips onto here and you just press down and you got the tip on there. See how the tip is on there? And remember, I had measured out how much is that? That's 15.5 microliters. So I'm going to draw up or suck up the liquids. Now, when you suck up, okay, if you're holding it this way, for sucking up, you're going to, I want you to first feel for this thing. You'll feel a first stop, and then there's like a second stop. There's a harder stop to push down. You're only going to push to the first stop. Hold it steady, and then you're going to set it in your liquid that you're going to suck up, and then let up, then pull it out of the liquid. So let's try that, okay? So I have to have some liquid here, okay, some blue liquid here, and I want to draw this up. So I'm going to have to set this down for a moment. I would really, let me set it down here because I'm going to go against my rules about like taking it off otherwise. So I'm going to take my liquid here, let me put it in a little test tube rack. So, and hopefully, let's see if I can put it this way. No, it won't go that way. All right. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. Okay. So I have my liquids there and I'm getting my micropipetter. It has the tip on it and I'm ready to suck up. So I'm going to push down to the first stop. I'm going to set it in the liquid, right? Let up, then bring it out. Okay. And you can see that's my 15.5 microliters, okay, because we had measured out, we had, put on there 15.5, and the 15.5 microliters is in there. Now, if I wanted to expel this, okay, so we just sucked up the liquids, and remember we went to the first, push down to the first stop, right, push down to the first stop, stuck it in the liquid, draw the liquid up, and then pull it out of the liquid. And then our liquid is in there. So now if I want to expel it, it's a good thing usually to expel it and make sure you're touching on a solid surface. So I'm going to put it on the top of this Petri dish. Now how you expel is this is when you're going to use the second stop. You're going to push all the way down to that second stop. See if we can get this all on the video here. So I'm touching to the Petri dish and I'm going to push all the way down to the second stop. Bring it up, then I can let my thumb up. And that little drop on there, that is at 15.5 microliters. Okay, so let's do a suck and squirt again. Okay, so we're going to get the fluid. Okay, get the fluid. And remember, if we want to suck up, we go to the first stop, put it in. Hoping you can see this. Lift up, then take it out. And you got your 15.5 microliters. Okay. Then if you want to squirt out, let's bring this over. To squirt out, we got to touch it to the thing, push down to the second stop, lift up, and then lift your finger up. Now I know there's a little drop here. I probably touched the edge of the thing there. You're not squirting that out. You're not sucking that up, so it shouldn't make a difference, okay? Now, if you do put that in your test tube, like if it does get on your thing, like it just did on there, that's not a good thing. So you don't want to do that. You only want to draw out what you sucked up, and that's like that tiny little bit right there, okay? And now this tip here is now used. So you want to get rid of it. This is the funnest part. To expel the tip, you push this down. And you usually push it and you put it into like a beaker or something like that. I'm just going to squirt it or shoot it over here. But you can see when you push down on that, let me show you again with another tip. Okay. So here's another tip. When you push that down, it squirts it off. Okay. Or it shoots it off. Okay. And that's how you expel the tip. Then put your micropipetter back on your stand. And you're done with your micropipetter. This you can actually like shoot off into the trash. That's a good idea. Sometimes I'll have a beaker at the table and you can just shoot all the dirty ones into the beaker and all. But hopefully that helps you with using that. So again, we learned how to hold it. We learned how to set it. We learned how to suck up and how to squirt it out. The next thing I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to show you how to load the DNA gel. Okay, so that's it for the micropipettes part 1. Okay.